Dave Van Auken, Fight Bananas podcast. First time ever. I'm so happy having Sarah McDonald on. What's up?
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Busy.
Me too.
We talked about it before we started. And Sarah was like, I don't know how you're doing it with all these kids. I'm like,
Oh, I couldn't.
Crazy. Oh my gosh. But okay. So, we got questions at the end. We have some funny questions, and it's cool. We'll see where this podcast goes. First of all, you are fighting soon, right? Can we say that yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Island Fights 62, February 28th.
February 28th, yes. Yeah, I'm almost positive it's the 28th, right?
It's a Friday.
Yeah. So it's a little different, but yeah.
Yeah? Excited?
I am. I don't know my opponent. I don't know her name. I haven't looked her up.
You haven't Facebook stalked her yet?
No, I didn't even look up my last girl.
And that was your performance last time was phenomenal. It was awesome. How did you feel you did last time?
When I fought, I felt good. After I watched it, I was like, what am I doing?
No, really? Yeah. Are you your worst critic?
I'm a perfectionist.
Perfectionist.
I want it perfect, but when I fought, I felt good. I could see everything.
Right.
I don't really feel like I got hit all that much.
You didn't. I thought you looked great.
And I was so calm. John's he's like, you might get a little anxious. It's okay. You're going to be fine. I had no nerves. I was sitting back there. I was ready for the nerves. I was like, I'm ready. Come on. And nothing. I was chill as a pickle. I was nothing. I walked out. No nerves. I'm like, what is going on? It's intense. I liked it.
You're a straight killer.
I liked it. It was fun. I was like, I walked out. Afterwards, I told Anderson, I was like, yeah, I want to fight again. I was like, I want to do this.
That's awesome. Gosh,
yeah.
It's so funny. I joked about it and just going to the gym a couple times and seeing you guys, and we go on Saturdays and let the boys run around. You get that itch. You're like, oh my, and then just with me, I go to all these events and I'm sitting there and it's like, oh, I would do that, or I would do this different, or come on, you definitely get the itch. And I'm probably, my personality, my core is probably the exact opposite of a fighter, but that's cool. That's who we are. But I would love to do it once. I would love to do a kickboxing match once.
Yeah, do it.
Oh yeah. I would.
You should.
So, okay, you mentioned John and Anderson. So right off the bat, we can kind of start there. And, John's been on the podcast so many times, and, him and I talk almost daily. How cool is it to have John Radford, we call him the professor, how cool is it to kind of have him in your corner like that and be like, hey, you're going to feel this. He's been there so much, he's been in the corner of UFC fights, and he's been around so many fighters throughout the last 3, 4, 5 years. I feel like he's just he's got a good, common demeanor about him, and he knows when you need to get up. Some of Chris's fights, Chris, let's go. He'll tell you when it's ready, but he just definitely has an awesome, good demeanor about him.
He does. That's the thing I like the most about him is he gets in the corner and he literally looks at me and he's like, breathe.
Right.
We're gonna breathe.
Yep.
And then he does. He calms you, but then he can pull it out of you too.
Right.
And that's not something everybody has.
Right.
So it's it's a blessing to have him there to really be able to calm you, but motivate you all at the same time.
That's a good point. There's a lot of people that are drill sergeants and they just have one mode. It's go, work. But sometimes you do, even in the middle of a round or even during the fight, you need to conserve or kind of back up, defend, whatever. And then when it's time to go, it's time to go. So that's really cool. Second name you said there, Anderson Hutchinson, Superman, something else to you. It's so funny. We call him Anderson, but he's, you're...
I call him Babe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, I feel like he was nervous.
Okay.
Which, I can understand. I get nervous for his fights.
Right.
So, in the back, I could tell he was a little nervous, but he didn't really say much. He just stood there and held the water. John took over. I don't feel like he needed to say anything. John told me what he wanted. He's more leg kicks, put the jab in her face.
Right.
And he's like, go to the body. And I heard him say that, and that's when I dropped her, actually. So I was surprised.
That's awesome.
But John, he really kind of calls the shots and tells me what is open. And
so even in the middle of the fight, you heard him through it all?
all I heard was go to the body. And
really?
when he said
that's
that,
cool.
I was like, okay, and I did, and she just, dropped. I was like, yes, and then I hit her as she was on the ground. I was like, oh, I can't do that. This isn't
Right.
MMA.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God. I was like, let's just turn around and walk away. Maybe they won't notice. I was like, oh God.
Man, a rule breaker, Sarah.
I know.
Man.
Somebody said that too. They had commented on my post that I put, and they were like, on the ground, Mike Tyson would be proud. And I was like, oh God. I was like,
Talking about posts, Instagram, Sarah Mac 41. Definitely follow her on Instagram. Okay, so you said there are a couple things. So kickboxing, you're gonna be kickboxing again in Island Fights. And when you said MMA, and it's so funny because we had Kira in here months ago, and I had no idea because she boxes and does all that, and then she's like, oh yeah, no, I would love to be an MMA fighter. Like I kind of, not want to follow in Taylor's footsteps in a way, but that's the natural progression. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. I always thought of Kira as a just boxer. Would you want to ever go that route to MMA, or you don't know what, or is it just kickboxing and you're so happy there, or?
No, MMA was the goal in the beginning.
Okay.
That's why I started in jiu-jitsu at first. I asked Pete, I was like,
Right.
where should I start? And he's like, jiu-jitsu, it's the hardest. Everything else we'll get when you move back, because I was in California at the time. And so I started jiu-jitsu, and I was 20. I was 20 when I started jiu-jitsu. And
that was like 2 months ago.
4 years. I'm like, I
That's
just
awesome.
turned 24. So
24.
God, I know I'm old. Like I'm behind. Like I need to get on it.
Oh my goodness.
So, and then when I moved back, and Pete had got me in the gym, and it turns out I'm like the opposite. Jiu-jitsu is super easy for me.
Really?
Boxing is super hard for me. I'm like, what is going on? And why is this happening? Yeah. So I'm like the opposite, but it's okay. Everybody's different.
Right. No, you can easily make a career, especially in MMA. There's a lot of girls, just one girl that comes out of the top of my head right away is like Jillian Robertson, she's unbelievable on the ground. Like her ground game and her jiu-jitsu is just awesome. And you kind of can round out the other pieces. But if you are superb at one thing, or you excel at one thing, you're head up.
Yeah. But I want to be well-rounded, and that's this year I'm focusing really on kickboxing. Like I want at least 4, but to like 6 kickboxing fights this year.
Nice.
That's my goal.
Okay.
Without injuries, hopefully. And I really want to work on my stand-up because I want to be well-rounded. For sure.
And I probably said this 10 times on the podcast through its history is, that's something Pete said to me 2 years ago, and I hear so much, and I listen to so many podcasts, and I talk to so many people, but there's like 1 or 2 things I know every now and then like etch in my brain, right? And Pete goes, the one thing I can guarantee that MMA will give the fighters are injuries. For sure, beyond anything else, money, fame, wins, losses, anything else, like if you're going to be in MMA year-round, train all the time, injuries will happen. Like
all the time.
Serious ones, or even just minor ones, a little rib injury, a sprain of an ankle, hurt pinky, whatever the case may be, but it's just, you're using your body as a weapon and defending yourself, so it's just like, it's going to happen.
It is.
And it's almost like, I feel like it's not a luck thing, but it's a, like you said, to be healthy, like some, of course you can do so much on your body, and it's back to Kira. It seems like she does so many cool things, if it's like swimming or the Cairo stuff and all that stuff to stay healthy. But then sooner or later, it's just luck kind of gets involved.
It's when it's going to happen.
Right.
Not if, it's when. Yeah.
So 4 to 6 kickboxing matches. That's the goal for 2020?
That's my goal, yeah. And a bunch of jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Those things are so popular right now.
They are, and they're so easy, and they're like every weekend you can find one.
Right.
So I really, like in between fights, I really want to hit a couple of them and stay active so I can stay well-rounded,
Right.
keep my jiu-jitsu going on top of striking, and then whenever they think I'm ready for MMA, I'm all about it.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. Like, I thought so, but like I never got that, like, oh yeah, I'm going to one day. Yeah. It did,
and it was something like people don't know about me, because I came into this really late in my life. But as a young girl, I always wanted to fight, and my mom would never let me.
Right.
So it's kind of something when I moved to California, I'm taking this into my own hands, and I did. So I started jiu-jitsu and I moved back, and
wow.
I was married then, so I'm like, you can't tell me that I can't fight. So that's when I went out and I started doing it on my own.
Wow. That's awesome. Talking about her, you were just right before we recorded, pulling the curtain off, talking to your mom. Seems like she's been at the house for fights and everything like that. Just seems like you have a great relationship with her.
Yeah, she's a big reason on why I want to do this. And my grandma was a boxer. Nobody knows.
Wow, really?
Back in the day, yeah.
That's cool.
She used to fight men. She would get 50 cents for knocking out men and 25 cents for knocking out women. And she never lost a fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so she never lost. So I'm like, it's in the blood, but nobody
right.
knows.
These are the nuggets. This is why you're here. I love it. That's awesome. That's such a cool story. Wow, 25 cents. Wow. I can't give my son Colin, like, I'll give him $5 to do the dishes. He's like, no, 10, Dad, 10. It's like, I a tooth falls off and I give him $2. Or, I mean, the tooth fairy gives him $2 and he's like, what? There's not a 20 under there?
Right.
It's crazy.
I know.
20.
But back in the day, that was good.
Right.
So.
That's so cool. Wow. And that's another thing too. I was going to kind of take it and, kind of cool, the 3 F's, family, fighting, and faith, and always following you on social media or just seeing you or being around you. I know like you have a good, strong, like core of faith.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just talked to Kayla Haracha about this on the podcast like a couple weeks ago, and there's not a lot of that in mixed martial arts.
No.
Like Jacob Kilburn, I know, is really strong in that too as well. It's just the fight game itself sometimes could be a little hard and kind of dark and grimy, and there's a lot of sometimes like backstabbing and just like sometimes it's tough, and so you don't see a lot of that aspect in fighters or gyms and stuff like that. So how important is it to you to kind of, stay true to who you are and to faith, and how important is it to get you through training and training camps and fights of all that nature?
Yeah, it is. It's really important to me. I was raised up like that, and my mom always embedded that in me,
Right.
If all else fails, keep your faith and he'll pull you through. And that's what I've lived a lot of my life on, and it's huge to me, and I won't let that go. And a lot of my starting my career was based off of that, and I had to really keep my faith in the beginning, because the whole not last year but the year before,
right,
all of my training, they were trying to get me a fight, either it would fall through,
right,
I would get injury. I had 4 injuries that year, couldn't fight. And then I would get an opponent, they would pull out, and I was like, this is annoying. I am over this. And Anderson's like, it happens.
It does.
You gotta. And I'm like, okay. And, and then finally, by the end of last year, the girl didn't pull out. And even, to weigh-ins, I was like, I'm not even going to expect it until we walk in the cage tomorrow.
Right.
And, really, it's, I don't even know how to say it. It's just big and important to me because it is. It's how I was raised, and that's what I'm here for.
And it's more than just fighting. What we're doing with our kids, I just think it's a really good start of a day or a week or a weekend, and it's funny. We. Now we do like a prayer before we eat as a family, and it's kind of cool. And the kids will kind of argue to see who's going to do it this time. And my youngest son Dylan, who's 2.5 now, his thing is Colin does the God is good, God is great, let's see something of that nature. So when Dylan does it, I guess the first time he ever did it, I guess he had to go to the bathroom afterwards. We're really on the potty training thing. So we're all holding hands, we're eating probably expensive lobster on our dinner table, and it's the kids, when they do it, Dylan goes, God is good, God is great, let's see. And then he looks up and goes, I gotta poop. So that's what he does now. Every prayer, he puts that in the end. He thinks that's the part of the prayer. So,
funny.
Hey, some people pray for different things. He prays to go to the bathroom.
Well, and that's how we are too. If you go out to eat, and my mom's there, do not eat first.
Right.
Because you're going to pray in front of everyone.
Right.
And she did that to me one day, and we had 8 people there. And she's like, you're praying. And I was like, And I'm like looking around. I'm like, Mom, you have to. And I'm like hitting him like, Mom, you have to. I'm like, I cannot do this. And my mom, like, she like has her, like, she's like a pastor, so she's great in front of crowds. She can do that. But I'm like, if I know what I'm talking about in front of crowds, that's one thing. But I'm like, Mom, I cannot do this. I'm like, that makes me nervous.
Yeah?
Yeah, and like I can.
What's more nerve-wracking, praying in front of dinner of 10 people or fighting in the gate?
In front of 10 people.
I love it.
Because I'm like, oh my God, they're going to judge me. They're judging me. I'm like, but she's not like that. She's very open and she is.
That's awesome.
On fire.
Awesome. And it's so important. I feel like all three, it's hard to keep balance in life, and because like I want to be the best dad in the world, you know, best employee of the world, best husband in the world, but then I also want to be the best in, you know, media or podcasting in the world. So it's so tough to kind of balance it all. So sometimes it's like kind of almost letting go and just seeing where the day goes and keeping faith to see like, okay, we're good, we're doing this today, we're doing that, and it kind of just keeps you whole.
It does. It really does. Yeah. It's a good way to build your life. For sure.
For sure. Another thing, kind of funny thing, I think you'll like this, and I don't know if you talked about it or heard about it or whatever, and I thought about it this morning, and I knew you were coming, and I was like, okay, what are we, you know, I gotta usually see where it goes, but I have a couple cornerstones of where we're going to take it. Pete White Boxing and MMA, Port Orange, Florida. To me, I hope the gym takes this in the right way. You know how much I love that gym. It's like home. The kids love it. We love going there. The gym is turning into a really strong female gym.
It is.
Like,
it is. Like we're gonna take over.
I think like, you know, they used to have like Superman and Batman on each side. That's for John and Anderson, but like pretty soon we're gonna see like whatever, if the girls want to put Misha Tate or whatever ones they want to put on signs, but well, we'll get into that later. I got girls fighters for you later, but it's, you know, Taylor, of course, Pete's daughter, she's on fire. Yes. You know, just really, really 5-1 amateur, kind of a budding superstar in the game. Yeah. You know, with yourself and Kira, and there's so many. Like every time I go, I'm like, wow, there's 2 or 3 more awesome girl fighters there. Like, have you, like, is it cool to take ownership in that, or like, have you guys noticed that? Like, wow, you know, the gym is kind of changing from some of the guys that were there, or just even the age of them all, and now it's like the heart of the gym to me is female driven.
It is. It's turning into that, and Taylor plays a huge role for the girls there, you know,
right?
Because I mean, she is Pete's daughter, and she's growing like rapidly,
right?
And she is so advanced in boxing, and her striking, like she literally did it. Like we were joking because I'm like, she's throwing spinning back kicks and they're not landing, and I'm like, you've landed one on, you know, Kira before, and she's like, yeah, but you know, she's like, one day it's gonna land. Literally, it wasn't 5 seconds. She hit me in the rib, and it was like a liver shot, and I dropped to the floor, and I looked at her, and I was like, and I'm like, it landed, and I'm like, I can't breathe, and I'm like, I'm gonna.
That's the 4th F word that we won't use here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use it, but that was in my head. And
oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
And I'm like, she got me with that yesterday, and then Dylan, I thought broke my rib.
Dylan Radford.
So both sides, I'm like, yep, this is it.
And like, okay, so back like, but Taylor it's just so crazy to see her excel like leaps and bounds, like from, you know, 2 years ago, from last year, from even like the summer to now, like just her game, like she's a different type of animal.
Like her last fight, like we are always about her like throw leg kicks, and then her last fight, like there's like 5 leg kicks, and we're like, hold on, let me catch my breath for it. But they were solid leg kicks.
Yeah, like, one I had the tape and I put it on the group, and I was like, it was like the smack. I was like, there you go, Taylor. That low calf leg kick.
Yes, and like she's short and like compact, so like she has power. So when she is inside and she does throw a leg kick off an angle, they're powerful. And when she learns how to use that, it's gonna throw her through the roof.
Right. And kind of back on you, like I think you're a huge dark horse of the gym. I think you have like endless like potential as well, and like opportunities, and like I'm so excited to see what's going to happen for you in the fight game this year, and then ongoing. That you say, 2024, you're perfectly primed, and you got so many great years in front of you. So it's like, I think with Anderson and Pete and John, coaching and teaching and all that, and then just with you training day in and day out with Dylan and Taylor, Chris Mixon, and guys like it, you have to get better, or you'll
drown.
Yeah, you have to sink or swim.
Yeah, and that's like one of my moments before my last fight. It was like the last week. John is like, I'm going to break her today. Like, I'm going to break her. And I knew it was because John is the sweetest man you will ever meet. But let me tell you, I pissed him off. I don't know if I could say that word.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can say whatever you want. He does have a little bit of that in him.
Oh,
yeah.
I brought it out. And oh my God. We were doing these hammer swings on like the tire, right? And he wanted me to bring it straight up, and I kept bringing it around.
Right.
He's like, bring it straight up, and at this point, like, I'm cutting weight, I'm tired, and I'm like, John, I am trying, and I like cussed him. I said the F word. I'm like, I'm effing trying, and he's like, don't you cuss at me. If you want to cuss at me, you cuss me in your head. You understand? I'm like, yes, sir. And I was like, I've never had that, and then
right.
Took me afterwards. He's like, you have 10 minutes and you're sparring with Chris. And I was like, I'm going to die.
Was that like the punishment?
I think so, because everybody that knows Chris knows, like, he's like a sharpshooter. He's just an animal.
He's so good.
And I'm like he's going to kill me. And that's what happened. I clipped him with like a head kick on the chin, and then that was it. He was like, you're dead.
Yeah.
I died.
Oh my
goodness.
That day. Chris is supposed to be fighting on that card as well, February 28th. Hopefully everything works out with that. He's another one. I love Chris Mixon. I just like his demeanor, just who he is as a person, guy. Like Chris a lot. I think he's got it. We're talking about 2020. Like his year is anything.
Gonna be.
He could be anything.
He could be. Honestly, he could be professional at this point. The kid has so much potential. Like my prediction for Chris is he's like Conor McGregor on steroids. Like yesterday,
but not on steroids.
But not on steroids. Yeah, he's not on steroids. Let's make that clear.
Yeah. No, it's good. I see what you're going. Like you know what he kind of reminds me of? Maybe here's one. Darren Till.
I think he's gonna be better. Like he's gonna be better.
That's awesome.
I think yesterday I was watching him hit mitts with John. He is just like on fire right now. And he's like 21 years old.
I know.
Like I'm like, this kid has so much more to give.
Right.
And you can tell he's driven, and this is what he really wants. And the kid's he's gonna go places for sure.
For sure. Same thing. His mentality is awesome. It's cool. Kind of been a thread of this whole show is John Radford. Like he's got John in his corner, in his ear. They're kind of. It's funny, they're really like yin and yang, but I think that's why they work so well together. Like, John tells me stories when they go out to eat, and it's just like how their conversations go, and it's like they're nothing alike.
No.
But they're perfect together.
Yes.
Like it's a perfect coach-student relationship and partnership. I'm so excited.
I feel like it's like a son that John has inquired,
Right.
They are. And in the gym, you should come in one day and watch them like kick spar. It's ridiculous. I'm like, you think one gets something and then the other one is like,
yeah.
It's like, nope, sorry.
Yep.
You thought you had something, but you didn't.
Right.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. Both guys. Another little thing is, so kind of, I don't know why I brought it up into it because I'm just not good at talking about it, but like the whole, so Kobe Bryant passed away a couple days ago, and I saw like
cry this podcast.
Well, that's always good for ratings, but no. But okay, so it horrible, and just the whole thing, the whole daughter and so many people in the helicopter is kind of like getting lost a little bit and everything, but just like especially our lifetime, like easily the greatest athlete who's passed away in our lifetime so far. So it's like just wow. But then the thing where I'm going with this is that it's kind of like getting really trendy, the whole Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you think this about yourself, but like if I wrote this down on a piece of paper, and I did, Mamba mentality, like I literally thought of Sarah McDonald. Like I thought of you. I just thought of like you feel like I see like you have a lot going on, and you're always busy, but like you're always there in the gym, you're always working. Everyone I talk to there is like, yeah, like you you get better weekly. Like,
yeah, that's my goal. Like, and I look up to, I don't even know if I say her name right. Zhang, the new champ.
Weili, I think it's
Zhang. I don't know how to say her name.
I think it's Young.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, Weili Young.
It's easier. Yeah. Yes. I follow her. Like, I really follow her. Before she was even champ, like, I was like, this girl. I knew she was running through Jessica. I told Anderson that. I predicted that. I was like,
100%. You ready? I'm going to cut you off right. Her first fight in the UFC was like 18 months ago or 20 months ago. On Fight Bananas, I wrote future world champion. The very first time I saw, like, she jumps off the screen.
Yeah.
Like, she just, like, I'm like, oh, yep, UFC champ. I said the same thing about John Jones, his first fight ever. But, like, yeah, her the same thing. I was like, jumps off the screen.
She really does. And I study her, and, like, I love her stuff. And literally on all her posts that she posts, like, with her training, she's like, I just want to get better every day. Every day I'm a little bit better than yesterday.
Right.
And that's my mentality when I go into the gym. And I was just telling Anderson that. I'm like, if anything, I'm going in there for me. And however everybody else is feeling, everybody has good days and bad days. But I'm there for me, and I'm going to take everything I can get out of it. And I'm going to give everything I can on those days. And some days are worse than others. Like, I've been sick for 3 weeks. This is the best I've felt in 3 weeks. And I would go in there and I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is terrible. But you like grind through it, and it makes you better, and you can.
For sure, because if I feel like if you can do that, not at 100%, if you're 70% congested or just not feeling good, you're not breathing right. When you are 100%, 95%, and you're locked in a cage with someone else, it's like, I can do this. I'm good. I sparred with Dylan and Chris Mixon and Taylor at 70%. I can beat XYZ at 100%.
I was just telling Taylor that yesterday. I'm like you, Dylan, and Anderson. I didn't put Chris in there, but Chris too, because he kills me during fight camps. And I'm like, I spar with you guys, and that's the only people I try to spar with, because like I don't want to get hurt either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, if I can hang with you guys, I know, because they're above me. They're at a different time in their life, and if I can hang with you, I can hang with anyone. And I've built myself up mentally from my last fight. Like, the weight cut, it sounds bad. The weight cut is like my favorite part, I think, of fight camp.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah, mainly because I feel like it mentally makes me stronger. Like, I'm sitting in the sauna and I'm like, God, I am dying. And I'm like, but you know what? This girl is going to pay for this. And I went through all of this, and you're going to try to take this away from me, all my hard work, and I'm sitting here cutting this for you? No. And I mentally build myself up in, like, the last week of my fight. Like, so.
Wow.
I think it makes me stronger, so I, like, embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, trust me, when I get home and I'm like, Anderson, I'm dying, I need an ice cube, but it's still, like, mentally I'm like, no, this is mine. And I've already won before, like, I go in. It's done. Wow,
that's cool. I like that. That's a good story. I like that. That's usually everyone I talk to, that's like the worst week. That's the worst. That's like the fight, everyone says, and then that fight night is fun. It's like everything I've done and worked and trained and everything. With that too, like, I feel like lately trending for the 5 years before this kind of past year, everyone was like getting down as low as they could. Like, I'm going to cut as much weight as possible. Anderson, cutting just tons of weight. And like now I feel like a lot of the fighters, just as we throw out Conor McGregor right now, just at welterweight, like it's almost like not trending the other way, but like, let's go up. Like, let's fight at our natural weight. Because I talk to so many fighters, and like so many fighters tell me if they cut all that weight, they're like 70%. They're like, I go into that cage, but I know the other guy's 70%, but I'm hoping I weigh more and I'm thick and I'm stronger than the guy I'm fighting. But I'm like, and that's what I mean. I'm not a fighter. I just don't know that that mindset. Like, I would want to be close to 100% walking into that cage.
Well, yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, they're cutting so much weight to get down to a division, because then they're going to be so much bigger, but at the same time, they're depleting their body of so much. And then it also depends on what you're putting in your body when you're refueling. Like, if you go out and you're eating like pasta and all these terrible carbs for you,
right?
You have to fuel your body back up, right? And you have to rehydrate, right? And a lot of professionals, some of them, probably do it right, but then there's others that I know that you see pictures of what they're eating, and I'm like, I would never, and it's just a different way of looking at it and breaking it down. But I just watched yesterday a thing on Valentina Shevchenko, and her natural walk around weight is like 135, and she cuts 10 pounds to make 125, but she's going in there at 100%.
Right. I think that's perfect. That's like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
If, any kind of fighter, if I weighed, let's just say 150 pounds, like I wouldn't want to maybe go down to the 135 pound division. Maybe it's 145. Maybe it's only 5-6 pounds, because I would feel like literally 100%, even fight week, be able to eat kind of what I want to eat and just be mentally happy and a good mindset, and then cut the 5-6 pounds, which 1 or 2 sauna sessions.
Yeah. It doesn't take anything. And that's how I am. Like, Anderson's like, you need to fight 115. And I'm like, no, I'm not fighting 115. And like, I'm so against it. But at this point, like, my main goal is I want to fight 125. Right. Typically.
Right.
But with amateurs, like, I'm not being picky. If I can get 115, I'll make 115. If I can get 120, I'll make 120. 125, I don't have to do anything really.
Right.
Because typically I walk around like 132. Lately, normally I walk around at 136. But like, since my last fight, like, I don't know what happened, and my metabolism is going. Like, I've been walking around at 130, 131.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then I woke up this morning at 129.4, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm not even trying to cut weight. I'm just naturally, I don't know. So I have like 9 pounds to cut before my fight.
Right. For one, that's good. And two, maybe, if it ever does go down to 115, like, you're getting your body a little bit closer to that. Like, goofily, I say that to Taylor all the time, and I feel like horrible. Like, a guy should never say that, girl, but she always like asks me, we talk about it. I'm like, you got to get yourself close. Like, get closer, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, closer, and then the last week, it is what it is. Like, it's not fun, or first.
It is fun,
I love that.
I can't say it's fun, but like, I embrace it and I enjoy it.
I like that so much. Wow.
It makes me strong, and mentally, when I was there, like I said, I didn't look up my opponent. I didn't even know who she was at weigh-ins. Like, I didn't even know who she was. I didn't know who she was because the organization we fought for didn't make us do stare-offs. So
Did you see her with the organization?
I'm Italian, so they're all just,
I liked it.
So I didn't even know who she was until I walked in the cage.
Wow.
Because I didn't care. And my mentality behind that, like, my mom's like, you need to look them up. You need to know what they're capable of.
Right.
No, not to me. Like, especially amateurs, when I get professional, then my coaches can study you and be like, this is what we need to work on. She's this, she's that. They can look her up and study her. I don't, it's not my thing. Because I feel like when you study somebody, you're either going to overestimate them or underestimate them. And I'm not going to do neither. I'm going to go out and I'm going to be me. Yeah, and that's one thing, too, that's kind of cool that you said that is, I would feel like, okay, so if I was a fighter, I would, like kind of what you said, if I'm fighting Sarah McDonald, Island Fight 62, I would watch your last fight. Be like, oh, wow, she does this good. I do this good. But now if I'm Sarah McDonald, I would be like, oh, I watched my fight. The fighter saw me jab terrific. I'm not going to jab like that. I'm going to move my legs and do a short hook. Like, whatever it is, like, I'm going to pro that. Like, that's what I would think, at least as a fighter. Well, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like as amateurs, even professionals, you're always growing. And there's always something you're improving on. And I feel like, especially for amateurs, because you constantly have to be growing as an amateur. You're, like I said, you're just going to drown.
Right.
In the nature.
Right.
And so I feel like this next fight, like, I'm not even going to be anything like the last fight. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so much more that we've added to, like, my hands. And my legs are going to be, like, my poison, I think, as I continue to grow. And I'm obsessed with my...
Poison as in good. Like, that's going to be your bread and butter.
I think so. I'm obsessed with kicks. And
that's awesome.
And I can't tell, like, what kind of kicks, but, those are secret.
Secret.
For now.
We're going to talk about it off air. Yeah. So it's a secret. It's going to be a fight that is exclusive after the fight.
But I feel like, that's going to be one of my main goals.
That's awesome.
Not goals, but poison. I like poison.
Poison. Okay. So poison. Bread and butter doesn't work. Poison. Sarah McDonald, Sarah Mac41 on Instagram. Okay, so this is going to be fun. I love doing these. I love lists and ideas. And if you need to think about it, you can think about it. So one of the past episodes, it just kind of came up naturally or organically because Chris Cyborg won her 4th championship. I saw you posted on Instagram, and you know, wherever she's won a 15-pound gold belt around her waist. And me and John were debating. I think for sure she's on my female Mount Rushmore. I love the Mount Rushmore. Yeah. There's 4 of them. So my female Mount Rushmore was this. It was the GOAT, the best ever. I think there's no debating. To me, is Amanda Nunes. Then Chris Cyborg. And my last 2 were kind of the ones we really went back and forth on. I had my Babe Ruth, my origin of female MMA, especially for UFC, Ronda Rousey. And my 4th one was Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So that's my 4. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What would you change, switch around?
I mean, I like it.
Mm-hmm. No, you can. This.
I'm just not a fan of Amanda Nunes.
Really?
I'm not, no.
Okay.
They like say she's the GOAT, and I'm like, she's a baby goat.
Really? Wow, she's like just on fire though. She's just stopping everyone early too. She just beat Cyborg within a minute.
But after watching Cyborg's like Bellator, like she went and like completely rebuilt herself, and I would like to see that rematch because I don't think it would go the same way. Cyborg is a very aggressive fighter.
Yep.
And I think she had the mentality of, I'm going to eat some of these punches and I'm going to deliver mine. And she underestimated Amanda's power for sure.
I agree. And after that fight, I don't think anyone will ever underestimate Amanda's power. Like she's just
much respect. I mean, she's a great fighter and she's very well rounded. But I think Cyborg, with the wisdom from the last fight, and then, did you watch her Bellator fight?
I watched the highlights. I'm not gonna be that guy. Like
she was nasty.
I tried with Bellator a couple times.
It's hard.
It's tough, right? I've watched so much MMA in the last 3 years, and especially me. Like I really do love like the regional scene. It's so funny. John asked me about guys. I'm like, oh yeah, he's fought this guy, this guy, this guy. He's won. He's really good on the ground. He's like, how do you know all this? I'm like, I watch it all. Like every island fights, and then especially in Florida, it's Combat Night and XFN, Titan FC. Like I love these shows because we're here. Like these are the people that you guys are kind of going against, and I just love seeing. I love probably even more than the UFC. This is my whole existence. Like I love the come up story. Like I love watching Dark Wolf MMA, or like I like everyone at Fusion XL. They all know who Mike Perry is, and they all know who Phil Rowe is, and they all know. But like the guys like I'm. Probably the wrong word is attracted to, but the ones that like I connect with a little bit is like guys like Bubba and J-Mac, and I love Jada. There's just like the fighters there that are a year or two maybe away from that. Like I love that. Like I like kind of seeing the rising part and seeing them grow and all that stuff. It's awesome. Like that's just my favorite part, I think, of MMA. So I think I'm so like, let's just throw out Chris Mixon. Like when Chris Mixon's going to be in the UFC 2 years from now, and he's going to have tons of fans and all this stuff, right? I'm like, dude, I saw Chris Mixon knock out people in Daytona Beach, in Orlando at the OLE, now in the Pensacola Bay Center. Like, we're going to be like, we have all these stories. And it's like, people can say, yeah, I saw U2 or the Beatles before they were U2 and the Beatles. Like, I like that. I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah. It's the start of their career. You're watching them being formed into who they're going to become. So I think I can agree. I can agree with that.
All right, so you got Cyborg on your list. I'm writing that down. She's on your Mount Rushmore.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, who else? You got 3 spots.
Cyborg. How do we say her name?
Oh, Jung Wei Lee, or I think
her.
it's Jung Wei Lee. Her. So she's on your Mount Rushmore.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, so Jung, that's a good one. Little young.
Yeah, but she's young.
But she's like 24-0 or something like that, or 24-1. She lost her first.
But I literally just watched this 2 days ago.
Okay.
That's an amateur fight that they have on her record. It's not even she told them that. She's like, it's an amateur fight, but I don't care.
Right. Wow.
And I'm like, so technically she's like 24-0.
That's awesome.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
So she's like on like the Khabib level. I mean, she's not a wrestler, but you know what I mean? Like she's like up there, but
that's awesome.
Wins and
no, she's phenomenal. Like talking about that real quick, so that's what this show is. Her versus Joanna next month. I think
Joanna's in trouble.
Really?
Yeah. I think the only way she wins is if she can keep distance and just pick her apart. Otherwise, I think she has too much power, right? Too much power. She's technical. And I think if she gets her hands on her, I don't think Joanna is getting back up if she takes her down. I think she's too powerful.
All that I agree with. All what you said, I agree with. The one thing that I keep on kind of just putting out there to the world, there's nothing experience, championship experience, grit. I think Joanna even knows this is like maybe her last come up, her last rise to the title. If she loses this, she kind of gets that little Holly Holm, like I fought for the title 2-3 times and didn't win. Who knows if she ever gets one ever again. And especially like this is her weight class too. Like I think she knows she like needs this.
She has to.
So like, and she's a champion. Like I will never count like a champion in her heart and all that. So it's like, it's weird. Like 9 out of 10 times, I think Jung Wei Lee probably wins. But for this one, I think Joanna might get her. I don't know why. I think it's a 5-round long fight. Like you said, like she jabs in, jabs out. She's just a little bit more active, and Wei Lee like has more spurts, like 20-second amazing spurts. But Joanna just kind of defends and gets out of it, and then the other 2 minutes, Joanna wins.
Yeah, yeah. She's really gonna have to move. She's really gonna have to, like you said, in and out. Footwork is going to be huge, but then you turn around and then she has footwork. Like she does.
She's amazing.
She's a workhorse.
She is.
Yeah, Joanna has a chance, but she's going to have to want it. She's going to have to want it.
Yeah, like
she's going to face adversity before she gets it. That's for sure.
Right. Okay.
And I think too what Joanna has going for her is she hasn't faced anybody that's as technical as Joanna.
True.
And Joanna's a sniper when it comes to striking.
She's so good.
And she's fast.
She's so good.
So that'll be a new challenge, but they also thought that Andrade was going to run right through her too. But that's a whole different stylistic fight. And she just got bullied. The bully got bullied. And it was
quick.
That was insane.
That was like 30-40 seconds?
Yeah.
She's just so good. Like, and I think if Joanna can get through that first spurt, that first for 30-40 seconds, and kind of, you know, like you said, I like it. Footwork, keep on the outside, keep the jab up, and then if the fight goes minutes and rounds, then I think it goes Joanna's way.
Yeah, the deeper it goes, yeah. Because we've never seen, you know, what she has deep into fights. Right. So Joanna, we know, can last throughout a fight. So, the farther it goes, the more it goes to Joanna. She
went 25 minutes with Michelle Watterson. Her ankle was humongous, and she, in the 5th round with 30 seconds left, she's bouncing. Like, she's like, I'm like, love that.
Watterson in that fight. I felt bad for her, but, I mean, she's a trooper for being tough and sticking that one out. But, that was a bad fight.
So we need your Abraham Lincoln on this Mount Rushmore. We need, so we got Cyborg, we got Wei Lee. Who else? Two more female mixed martial arts Mount Rushmore.
Oh gosh. Okay.
This is documented. Like this is like we're gonna put this on a laser disc somewhere. Like people from around the world will be able to watch this forever.
Okay. So honestly, Tatiana Suarez.
Really?
I really love
Suarez.
Tatiana.
Okay.
She has a lot of stand up to work on, but her ground game is fierce. That is
for sure.
She's Khabib in the women's. Like she is Khabib.
You think she's gonna win the championship this year?
Like the title? I don't. It depends on her neck. Like her neck injury, that's scary, man.
It is, but like I think it's been like.
She's gonna have to work on hands though before she wins.
It's been close. I think like she's almost recovered. Like I remember talking about that, you know, in the summer. I'm like, oh man, she's having the surgery. She'll be out like 9 months. And like in my head, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like early 2020, like in the winter time. So I'm hoping, you know, more than anything, I hope her health and just, you know, she can kind of be a person just going forward other than a fighter. Then I hope she gets back in there and gets back to where she was.
I do too because I mean she was coming up quick. But and then the last fight, I feel like a lot of people were like, oh my God, her hands are terrible and but she also I think it was after the first round, that's when she hurt her neck and her whole arm went numb for the whole fight. So how do you have hands when you don't have an arm, you know?
Right.
So, and then tough it out and go through that. So I think she has potential to be champ, but she's got to work on some holes.
Okay. So Cyborg, Whaley, Cerez, the last spot.
That's hard. Okay. Honestly.
So let me throw out some other. So when John and Taylor, we kind of all talked about it. I had Rousey. I think they both had Gina Carano. She's an all-timer. Taylor had Rose Namajunas. She was on her list. Other girls that are right there are Misha Tate and Holly Holmes. Valentina.
I know. And it's between Valentina and Ronda.
Okay.
I think, and the reason why I'm not saying Ronda is because Ronda paved the way for all the women in the UFC. Like she did tremendous for us.
Right.
And she made it possible. But then it's like you go and you see this person that is she's built herself up and she's we thought she was mentally strong,
Right.
And then you go and you lose, and then the way she dealt with it and the whole the suicide thing, and I'm like, fighting is not worth your life.
Right. I agree.
It is a thing. I love it. If I lose, I'm going to be upset. But to go to the extreme, I just kind of really, that hurt me with her. Like I was like, dang. And then you just bail out, like you're a champ, and then you come back. I would have taken a fight before I went against Amanda Nunes.
Right.
I'm not going to go straight for the belt. You just got knocked out. Let's get some fights. And
I almost felt like the UFC knew.
Yeah.
Like she had one more in her. And if she would have fought against this, a Misha Tate or, someone else in that caliber, like a, really good female, but like it wasn't because Amanda was on the way up. She was the champ, and it was like they knew we can almost literally seal Amanda Nunes as like a superstar, as like the champ. Hey, she went through this girl, and she's beat Ronda. So like I felt like
it was sad because it's like when that fight was coming, like you knew what was going to happen because we just watched her with Holly.
Right.
And we're like, and Amanda's hands are like on fire right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And she's just so powerful. Like you said, like.
And Ronda we've all watched Ronda's fights. Her head sits right there, right on the center line. Like, hit me.
Oh, man.
No, don't get me wrong. When it comes to judo and her ground game, she's
top notch.
Like
the world.
She's the best.
Yeah.
You give any girl a judo/jiu-jitsu match with her and they're not going to beat her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to striking.
Okay, I got another girl I want to throw out there, another female that I want to put close to this list. I like her so much, and I don't think she gets the respect she deserves, and she's not in the UFC, and a lot of people kind of take that away from her. Kayla Harrison.
Oh, I love Kayla.
Are you
kidding me?
Talked to her a couple times. Undefeated. She's down there at ATT. She's training with literally the best in the world.
She's an animal.
And she just has an aspect of her game that's unstoppable. Like if she fights anyone, I feel like she can take down any female in the world on the ground.
I would love to see her fight Amanda. That would be a good fight. Cut down to can she make 45?
I think she could. I think it's almost like every time I talk to her about it, I just think she feels like I could, but like this is who I am. Like I'm fighting at 155. PFL made this division. There's 8 fighters on there, and I don't need it. And it's cool. Like it was really cool she understands. It's everyone in the world. The UFC. It's so funny. Like if you a mainstream person, you go to Target and they're like, oh, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, Fight Bananas, MMA. They're like, oh, UFC. I'm like, well. Yeah, that's a brand. Like MLB is not baseball. Like there's other baseball in the world.
Yeah.
Like I love the UFC too. Like we're very pro UFC on this show, but like there's other organizations and there's other aspects of mixed martial arts other than UFC.
Yeah.
And Kayla's like, I know that I kind of takes away a little bit from me. Like some people don't think I'm the best or I'm on these top 5, top 10 lists. But she's like, I'm okay with it. Like
she knows who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really do think she's that good. I think she's.
Oh no, yeah. I love Kayla. Like I watch all her stuff and she's very open and she's very honest and I like that about her. and she doesn't sugarcoat anything.
Right.
So I respect that.
Do you see where she keeps her title?
No. What? Now I want to know.
It was so good. So the first time she was on the show, it was her, Kayla Haracha, and Sydney Outlaw. And Sydney Outlaw says, like, she keeps her gold medals in her sock drawer. Like, that's where she keeps them, just in her normal. She's pulling out socks. Oh, there's my gold medal. I need this off because I need it's cold. I need bigger socks.
A reminder?
She goes, like, she says, and, like, I kind of do get what she's like, I don't want to think about it. Like, I'm on to the next thing. Like, I don't want to rest on my laurels.
On the past.
Yeah. It's like, it's awesome. I'm so happy I won them, but, like, I want 2021. Like, I want what's next. That's awesome. She's like, so I kind of was funny. I was like asking her, like, hey, is your PFL championship belt in your sock drawer? She's like, well, it was too big to fit in there. So she like gets the camera. She goes, it's underneath it. And she has like this wicker basket. And it's like, you know, scarves and headbands and stuff it's in there. Just
that's awesome.
15 pounds of gold. Just
right there.
Hang in there.
That's awesome.
I was like, gosh, Kayla. She's
that's
amazing.
Awesome, though. Like, that's a great mentality.
She's a badass. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I would.
So Ronda or Valentina? I think you're leaning Valentina.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're leaning. Okay.
And Valentina, she's such, and like listening to her, she's a very humble person. But she is a very well-rounded mixed martial artist, and that's what she wants to be. And people underestimate her ground game, but she's never really had to showcase it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then with Juliana Pena, she submitted her, and everybody was like, she's gonna get submitted.
Right.
And she turned around and submitted her, and and she's only growing, and I think she's gonna be the face of the 125 for a while.
That head kick last summer was insane. Like,
that was nasty.
Jessica I, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I was like, ooh.
That was just like, that was almost like the Ronda Rousey head kick. It was like
every
brutal.
Hall of Fame type of fighter needs that. I feel like that one moment, that stamp of her career, like that was it. Like that was her boom. Wow. Yep. Okay. All right. So we did it. Wow. I love it. It was good. It was good. But we got 10 fun questions.
Oh gosh.
We call it kind of going bananas. It's like our segment. People like it. So we're going to keep on doing it.
Oh gosh.
You ready?
I'm ready.
It can be one answer or it can be an essay. Anything you want.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm ready.
First, what's your guilty pleasure song?
This is like
Look at that.
I have a question. Like,
sure.
Like, is this just like any song that I can pick? Or
Yeah,
is this
yeah. Like, mine is like, I feel like, man, there was like a song during the 90s. It was like a girl, like heart-shaped box or something like that. I don't know, like a heart emotion.
What is the name? I think it's called. Is it called Jitterbug? It's like an old song, and like Anderson turns it on, and I just start dancing all through the house. I'm like so excited.
Okay.
I think it's called Jitterbug.
Jitterbug? Okay. Everyone right now is like YouTubing it. Yeah, they're like going to tell us.
It is
like
awesome. It is such a fun song. It's an old song. Like, people aren't going to expect that.
Okay.
But yeah,
I love it.
It's awesome.
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear?
Mm-hmm.
Probably spiders or cockroaches.
Definitely.
Or lizards.
Spiders, cockroaches, and lizards.
I'm scared to death.
But great white sharks, you can be in the pool with them.
I'm obsessed. I'm going cage diving before I die, and I want to be that person that like they go out and like they just dive with them.
Yeah, like swim.
Yes,
like you're on their fin or
like they just go by and they just. That's my goal. Like I'm doing that. Anderson says I'm not, but I am.
How funny is this? That this question came right afterwards. Where will you be in 2025?
How many years is that?
5.
It's 5 years.
5 years from now. You might be swimming with great white sharks.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'll be UFC, hopefully.
Okay.
Well, I will be UFC, but UFC, yeah, most definitely swimming with great whites. And then I have another goal. I am going to go back to rodeoing after the UFC, so that's another thing. That's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother podcast. People don't even know the rodeo side. And no, I don't bull ride. It was barrel racing. I don't bull ride. Everybody asks that.
There you go.
I do not ride bulls.
Okay, so I'm in my calendar After you win on February 28th, we're going to get you back in. We're going to talk about your win. We're going to talk about the trip out there to the Panhandle and then rodeo.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a whole nother life story.
Here we go. If you ever started a charity, what would it be for?
That's hard. Working like in the hospital and stuff, that's hard. Probably mental health, for mental health. Because that's a huge thing right now.
Right.
And so many people deal with it and they don't, it's not recognized enough.
Right, yeah, I feel, and
it's too...
the people don't know what to do. I don't think, like...
Well, and then people really sugarcoat stuff and they're like, oh, they're depressed or they have this going on. They're just being dramatic. No, like, it's real.
Right.
It's real.
Right.
And working in the hospital, you see it all the time and it's so sad. So yeah, I would say mental health.
Love it. Who was your first celebrity crush?
That's, oh God. First one, probably The Rock. God.
That's such a good answer.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes you should end the podcast on that. That's such a great anscer. That's good. Yeah. No, that is actually the correct answer. You just won $10,000.
So if you hear this, you can reach out to me.
Hey.
Reach out to me.
Sorry, Anderson.
Say hello.
Sorry.
Just to say hello.
Yeah.
I love Anderson. I wouldn't even pick The Rock over him.
There you go. That's true love.
It is.
Yeah, because The Rock is rich.
The Rock is rich
and tall.
He is gorgeous. He is gorgeous. But I would never pick him over Anderson.
Oh my goodness. Vacation spot, tropical or cold weather?
Oh, I thought we were talking about places. I was ready.
Oh,
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. Okay, so that is definitely tropical.
Yeah, but I do love the mountains.
Right. That's why I thought I had that in you. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What's a funny high school or college story that not a lot of people know? And now you just have to tell the whole world.
High school or college. Okay, so high school, we might have to go to elementary school.
Okay, that's good. That works.
High school, I was dual enrolled, so I rodeoed all over. So I wasn't really in a school. I was literally I did my school online.
Wow. Okay.
So elementary school, I was always the tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
And my teachers literally went to my mom and they're like, you need to make her dress more girly because she dresses like a boy. I would wear my jeans and my boots and my camo shirt because I was raised on a farm and that's how my family is.
Right.
So that's what I would wear and they're like, she needs to dress like a boy. So all the boys would always want to hang out with me because I was always a tomboy. Well, one day it was some dress up thing and I had heels on for some reason at school and I was playing with my cousin and kicked my foot up, hit this kid in the knee, and he fell down like a little girl screaming on the sidewalk. She kicked me in the knee, and I went to detention. They almost suspended me because they thought I intentionally kicked him. And I'm like, you know what a big baby. And
there you go, kicking kids that was your God was sprinkle in the kicking power.
And then I tried to run away.
It's your poison.
In school.
Try to run away?
They caught me behind the principal's office and they're like, you have to come back. Where are you going? I was like, I was trying to leave. I hated school.
I never heard of that story. Man, I used to love school.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
I hated it.
Loved it.
But then in high school I liked it. It felt like I wasn't pinned down.
Right.
I felt because I was rodeoing, I was doing my school, I was doing what I liked and yeah.
Wow.
So high school was different.
Okay. So then this is funny. I'm getting pretty good at these question
college
things.
Stories, yeah. Or there's some things that I just can't talk about.
Okay. All fair. We're gonna have a Fight Bananas exclusive, your game plan and then your college stories. Be secretive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
In 3 words. Chirp. Okay. I was most optimistic.
Okay, that's a good one. Love that actually.
I was a little bit of a rebel. I rebelled a little bit.
Okay, so optimistic rebel. Athletic or
and then I was driven though as a teenager when I was rodeoing. I was really driven. I had a lot of drive for that.
Those are 3 good ones.
Yeah.
Those are like Elon Musk ones.
Yeah.
So
kind of, sort of, yeah.
Wow. There you go.
So
2 left. What's your go-to meal?
like a cheat meal or like that I eat like while I'm training?
Both.
Okay.
First cheat meal. You just won the fight. Sunday night, long week. You can eat anything you want on this
I
plate.
can tell you exactly everything.
There you go.
So, a thin and crispy pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut, wings, and then a green tea, Arizona in a can.
Perfect. There you go.
That's the cheat meal.
Tuesday, week of the fight. What's your healthy, I'm needing to maintain or lose a pound meal?
So, that would be probably like 4 to 6 ounces of chicken, broccoli, steamed, with nothing on it. And then, I cut out carbs, so no carbs. The only carbs I get is in the veggies, and then water, whatever water I can have by then. It's like, it would be Tuesday, so it would be like a gallon?
The whole day?
A gallon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So crazy. Okay, last one. Probably maybe your favorite question. What's your fight prediction? Island Fight 62. February 28th, kickboxing in the Panhandle, Pensacola. What's the fight prediction?
For me?
Yep.
I really want to teep her in the face.
There you go.
Like
so you have a game plan.
I just really want to land it. Like, I watched Edson Barbosa with his front teep to the face.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Oh, I've been studying his stuff for like the last couple weeks now. And that just like gets me. Like, I'm like, I'm going to do that before my career's over. So why not start now? And then, did you see Lyoto Machida's front teep to the face? That was ridiculous too. And Anderson Silva.
Right, definitely Anderson. I'm trying to think of the Machida one.
It was like one of his last fights in the UFC. Like, it was like this crazy knockout. Nobody expected it. You haven't seen it?
I probably have.
I forgot who he was fighting.
Randy Couture.
Yes.
Yep.
Teep straight in the face.
Yep. Wow. God.
And I'm like, yep. And I've literally been thinking about that for like weeks. Like, front teep to the face. Hopefully she doesn't see this.
Or you set it up. It's like jab, jab, and then she's like, oh, boom.
Yeah.
There you
go.
She'll forget. Wow. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been time in the making, been years in the making, a little bit.
God, yeah, I've been literally training for 3 years. I'm a little more experienced than some of the amateurs that I'm fighting that have like one fight because I've been training for so long.
Right.
But I mean, that's
could be good.
That's not.
Yeah.
I've been
awesome.
Injured, so.
Sarah Mac 41 on Instagram. Anything else you want to plug real quick?
No.
Nope.
No.
All right. P. White Boxing, Anderson Hutchinson. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, of course, my gym. I love my gym. Come check it out. I always send everybody, I'm like, you guys need to come here. They're like, is that where you train? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, well, isn't that just for fighters? I'm like, no. Like, we have people there that come just to box. Like, you don't have to fight. And they're like, well, I don't want to be embarrassed. And I'm like,
I feel like
start.
Yeah, you all have to start somewhere. And like,
We've all been there.
It's a great, like, I can't, say praise it enough. I do. Like, I know don't go as much as I used to or want to just because of how busy we are with all the Rugrats running around. But it's like, it's a great home feel. Like, everyone there is so nice. Like, there's some gyms that there's a couple mean people or mean guys or bully the gym. There's none of that. Anderson won't let that happen there. No. Like, there's just like, it's just everyone is trying to be better. Everyone's helping each other. It's a great camaraderie. It's a great family.
The only people that get in trouble for bullying is me and Taylor. And you know why? Because literally the last girl that came in the gym, John came up to me and to Taylor and was like, don't run her off. And we looked at each other like, what are you talking?
Okay. Well,
that look into the camera was for John.
Nope, John Radford, that was for you. Awesome.